So there's a CBS Mornings interview with Gayle King and the crew that you might have seen recently.
According to our next guest, AI could be coming for your jobs next. All right, so Matt Schumer's article, Something Big is Happening, has been viewed more than 80 million times. In it, he writes that AI's, quote, capability for massive disruption could be here by the end of this year. We're past the point where this is an interesting dinner conversation about the future. The future is already here. It just hasn't knocked on your door yet.
Because there wasn't much content out there communicating this to people who aren't in tech. There's so much content, and everybody in tech knows about it, talks about it, but nobody tries to communicate it in a way that people outside of tech can understand without knowing all the jargon that the industry is filled with.
That's a 26-year-old AI company founder named Matt Schumer. He wrote an article called Something Big is Happening. And if you've seen the interview or even just the headline, you might be feeling one of two things right now: panicked or skeptical. But I want to offer you a third option. Here's the thing about the interview. I watched the whole thing, and buried inside of all the alarming stuff, and yeah, some of it is pretty alarming, there was one piece of advice that I thought was genuinely useful, and I don't think it gets enough attention.
I think that it's worth everybody making up their mind on their own. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to those people.
But people are looking at you that you're 20.
Try it for yourself. I think that's exactly right. Across all the interviews that predict doom and gloom, all of them say the same thing. Learn how to use AI, learn how to use the tools, adapt to AI, and adopt them for yourself. So that's what this video is. I'm not here to tell you whether AI is going to take your job in 2 years or in 20. Nobody actually knows that. Not Matt Schumer, not his critics, and definitely not me. What I can tell you is what I've learned over the last year learning these tools and trying to figure out what they can do and where they fit into my life. And more importantly, I can tell you where to actually start if you haven't yet, or if you've tried them in the past but thought, nah, this really isn't for me. Let me tell you, things have changed. If you used it 6 months or a year ago, it's a completely different thing now. What exists now is not that. It's not that they're perfect, because they definitely aren't. But if you're basing your opinion on what AI can do based on something you used 6 months or a year ago, that's like trying to decide if you should buy the most recent iPhone by remembering what your flip phone used to be like. Things have changed that much. So if you've decided now's a good time to come back in, or if you've never used AI and you've been a little curious, maybe even a little nervous, now's a good time to start. Maybe you've seen things like the CBS clip and all of the other warning signs, and you keep hearing the thing to do is to adopt AI, but you don't know where to start. This video is for you. There was one piece of genuinely helpful information in that CBS interview.
So what is your message to those that are sitting back saying, all right, I have a job, I work at a desk, I work on a computer, I use technology, what can I do?
You can use it and you can try it. The beautiful thing about AI technology is it's actually one of the easiest technologies to learn and use. If you're a good communicator, and we see this all the time, some of the people that are best at working with AI are actually English professors and English teachers, right? Because they're good at communicating.
Got you.
It's a human-like technology. You want to give it all the context you possibly can, just like you'd give to an intern that came to your company for the first time.
That's a good way to put it.
Right? Give them all the context. If you just treat it like Google or like a chatbot, it's not going to work.
I want you to sit with that for just a second, because that last piece was key. If you just treat it like a Google search or a chatbot, it's not really going to work as well for you. The people who are best at using AI technology aren't the tech people. They aren't the engineers. They aren't necessarily the coders. For general, everyday AI use, the people that get the best usage out of AI technology are the communicators. They're the ones that can explain somewhat clearly exactly what it is they want done. And that intern analogy is the whole secret. Think about it this way. If an intern showed up at your office and you were expecting them to do something, you wouldn't give them 3 words like best marketing research, because they'd have no idea what you were talking about. Instead, you'd sit down with them, give them a little bit of background information, some context, and explain to them what it was you were looking for. Ideally, you'd give them an example of what the final product should look like, maybe a template to use. Then you'd feel pretty confident they could actually help you. AI is no different. It's actually best when you use natural language, and that means explaining things to it. And if you don't get it exactly perfect the first time, you don't need to worry about it because they are also excellent at asking follow-up questions to get more details from you about what it is that you're looking for. So the good news is you've already got that skill. You've developed that skill just by living your life and talking to other people. That's all you need to use AI. All right, so let's talk for a minute about what give it context actually means in a real life example. One of the key things is to understand that AI is not a search engine. When you search with Google, you get the most popular answer for the most common version of the question that you're asking. But you get the same result that everyone else is getting because it's the most popular generic answer. AI can certainly do that, but the real power is that it could take your specific situation, your details, your constraints, your actual life, and give you something that's specific to you. So let me show you an example with 3 levels of sort of the same question. All right, so let's say your garage is kind of a mess and you need some help organizing it. So you might go to Google or even YouTube and type in something like, I need help organizing my garage. And you'll notice these days, Google even has an AI mode, and that is pretty helpful, but still the results that you're going to get back are generic. Declutter and clean before you buy anything, empty the space, sort into piles, while it's empty, deep clean it. I mean, that's not bad advice, but it is very generic advice. There's nothing in here that is specific to your situation. So then you might go to an AI chat and start describing your situation in a little bit more detail. I've got a bay in my garage that's got bikes, a ladder, trash, recycling bins, some garden tools, cardboard boxes. There's a utility shelf, but it's pretty packed. It's kind of a mess. I need to get it cleaned and organized. My goal is to be able to park a car in there. I have a budget of around $200. I'd just like some suggestions on how to clean up and organize this space. So already you're able to give it a lot more information that's specific to your situation. A Google search can't necessarily handle that. You're going to get some of the same information back. Start with a purge, not a purchase. But then it's going to get slightly more specific to you. Go vertical. The floor is prime real estate if you want to park a car. So now we know we need to get everything up off the ground. Wall-mounted bike hooks would be good for you in your situation. Consolidate the utility shelf because you told it you have a utility shelf. Garden tools, level wall, get a pegboard maybe, and cardboard boxes, you just need to get rid of those. So that's already a lot more helpful and might give you some specific details that you might not have thought of on how to get your garage in shape. But if you really want to get the maximum use out of these tools, there's one more thing you can add to the mix that really makes all the difference in the world as far as I'm concerned. And that is to give it a picture. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and so if we're using our words to give the AI agent more context, definitely give it a picture. I apologize in advance for the state of my garage, but it really does look like that. So if I give it the exact same prompt, got a bay in the garage, bikes, ladder, blah, 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 but I also give it a picture, then it comes up with something completely different. What you're working with, a single car bay that's maybe 10 to 12 feet wide. Bikes are taking up a lot of floor space. It sees some of the other stuff in the garage, and then it tells me the biggest wins. The bikes are probably your number one obstacle. Ceiling mounted bike hoists are around $20 to $30 each on Amazon and are genuinely life-changing for garage space. I had no idea such a thing existed. And then it goes on to tell me about wall-mounted horizontal racks for the ladders. Garden tools leaning in a corner are just a hazard. And then it gives me a cost breakdown to give me a list of things I could buy to fix what it now knows is my very specific space. Frankly, the cardboard boxes just need to go to recycling for free. I mean, that advice is always going to be the same. So I want to give you one more example that has just really stuck in my head and actually really changed the way that I use these AI tools. I was helping my mom move into a new place, and so all the appliances were new to both of us. We didn't have manuals, and as you are with moving, you're going through a lot of cleaning at the same time. I was the one in the new place and I was in charge of just cleaning up some dishes that were dusty but not really dirty. And I was staring at a dishwasher that had all these buttons that I didn't have at home. I just needed something to run very fast and quick so I could get through a multitude of dusty things and get things sorted out and put away in the new space. So all I did was literally take a picture of the dishwasher buttons and ask ChatGPT, what's the difference between the eco mode and the 1-hour wash? I've got a load of dusty things. I just need to run a super fast cycle to get things rinsed off. And I got a super helpful answer. The eco, which is what I thought I should use because I thought it'll use less water and be really fast, was actually the opposite of what I wanted. It was a longer cycle, it used less water and lower heat, but that's because it ran for like 3 hours. The 1-hour wash is actually what I was looking for. I could still turn off the air dry if I was worried about, efficiency, but what I needed was just to get something done fast, and it gave me the exact answer that I needed. And that's the thing that I kept coming back to. I just needed to get things taken care of in a hurry. So if you've ever moved into a new place and didn't quite know how to use the controls, or if you're traveling and you hit a new hotel room or an Airbnb and you cannot figure out how to change the thermostat settings, take a picture. Take a picture and send it to your favorite AI agent and just ask, here's what I'm trying to do. What buttons should I press? I did that again in my mom's new place. We could not figure out how to program the thermostat, and it turned out that the original installer had turned off the programming instructions on the thermostat when they installed it, for whatever reason. ChatGPT gave me a reset code, or the most likely factory set reset code, to completely change the instructions so that we now had a fully functioning programmable thermostat. I was really minutes away from going out and buying a brand new expensive wall-mounted thermostat so that we could change the settings in my mom's new place. Luckily, with one quick snapshot and a question, I didn't have to. That probably saved us at least $50 and certainly a couple of hours of installation time. So if you're watching this and thinking, great, but how do I actually start? The biggest 3 AI chat systems are ChatGPT, Claude, and Google Gemini. They all have versions of a free plan where all you have to do is just create an account and sign in. It's definitely worth saying it's worthwhile trying more than one. You can use multiple AI agents, even for the same question sometimes. They all have slightly different personalities, for lack of a better word, and honestly, a lot of it just comes down to your personal preference. The more you use them, the more you'll get a feel for exactly how they work and which ones you might like the best. Once you've got an account with one of them, just think about something that's been bothering you this week, something you couldn't quite figure out, something that's been slightly irritating, or something that's tedious for you. And if you really can't figure out what to ask it to tell you. Hey, tell me something cool that you can do that I might not have thought of otherwise. Build a personal decision dashboard for your life. Okay, I'm in. So look, I definitely don't know what's coming. Matt Schumer doesn't, I don't, nobody does. Nobody really knows the timeline. But the one thing that everybody does seem to agree on is that AI is here to stay and in fact is going to become a bigger and bigger part of our lives. The good news is you don't need to take a class for that. You don't need to spend hours and hours learning a new skill. All you need to do is just create an account for free and log in and just start using them. So just go try it. Pick one or many of these tools, create an account, log in, and just go play. You hopefully will be pleasantly surprised at what comes out the other side. All right, I hope you found that helpful. If you did, give it a like, maybe pass it along to one of your friends who's also AI curious. I'm trying to do more of these AI in the real world type of videos, so if you're interested in that kind of content, hit subscribe and you'll be notified when the next video shows up. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.